Welcome to Crypto Gems, and in this video you will learn about two of the most promising DeFi projects out there right now, the Graph and 1inch. You will learn about what they are, how they work, and what they could actually mean for you. First, please notice the disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor, and this video is for informational and educational purposes only. Now let's dive right into this video. And before we start, I do want to add that any links you will need about the Graph or about 1inch will be down in the description. Alright, so first we are going to talk a little bit about what the Graph is. So the Graph is an indexing protocol for querying networks like Ethereum and IPFS. And anyone can build and publish open APIs called subgraphs, and that's important, making data easily accessible for your applications and decentralized applications. So subgraphs can be composed into a global graph of all the world's public information, which is amazing first of all, and this data can be transformed, organized and shared across applications for anyone to query with just a few keystrokes. So with the Graph project you can actually say goodbye to custom servers, because before the Graph, teams had to actually develop and operate indexing servers, and this required significant engineering and hardware resources and broke the important security properties required for decentralization. So with the Graph and with the subgraphs, they actually don't need their own indexing servers anymore, and they can query from the subgraphs themselves. So one of the most amazing things I think about the Graph is that the Graph is actually supported by a lot of networks. So first of all, the hosted servers and the Graph network are supported by Ethereum, one of the biggest networks right now, obviously. But apart from that, as you can see, the hosted servers of the Graph is actually supported by a lot of different networks and blockchains, such as the BNB chain, the Polygon network, the Near network, Avalanche, POA, and you can see a lot more. Alright, so I also wanted to talk a little bit about the projects of the Graph. So you have the Subgraph Studio, the Graph Explorer and the hosted service, and we're going to check them all out. So the Subgraph Studio, first of all, is where you can actually create, manage and publish subgraphs and your own API keys. And with the Graph Explorer you can actually view subgraphs, or as we said in the beginning, just as a reminder, the APIs on the decentralized Graph network, indexed by network participants. So for example, down here you can see the SushiSwap mainnet, you can see the Audius network and many more. And then lastly, we can check out the hosted service project, on which you can discover all the other subgraphs by the leading projects in the Web3 ecosystem on their hosted service. So down here you can discover amazing projects such as Compound, Uniswap and all other subgraphs. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about the security of the Graph. So the Graph network has launched on the Ethereum mainnet, and therefore it has a proof of stake consensus mechanism, obviously. But apart from that, they also need your help to ensure the security of the protocol, and therefore they have the Graph Bounty program. And the Graph Bounty program has been launched to identify bugs and critical vulnerabilities in the network infrastructure and in the smart contracts. And the crazy thing about that is that up to 0.5% of the total Graph tokens, GRT, the tokens used within the Graph project, is being allocated to reward successful bounty hunters. And that may not sound as that much, but if you actually compare 0.5% to the fully diluted market cap, for example, because that would be the market cap if all tokens have been released, that's quite a bit of money to be rewarded to keep the security of the Graph up to date. So the Graph project also has some amazing events coming up. First one being the Graph Day. On the Graph Day you can join the world's brightest dreamers and doers for a full day focused on Web3, decentralized apps, protocols and the future of the internet. And this will actually be happening June the 2nd, so there's still time to go, and you can join the Graph Day in the Palace of the Fine Arts in San Francisco. Another amazing event will actually happen the 3 days after the Graph Day, so in total it will be 4 days. And that will be the Graph Hack event. And that will be a 3-day hackathon, which will, as I said in the beginning as well, will follow immediately afterwards the Graph Day, and this will channel Graph Day into action as hackers collaborate to shape the future of Web3, all powered by the Graph. On their website you can also find out a little bit more about the Graph Hack event. You can just check that out on thegraph.com, and you can, for example, check out when it will be happening, where it will be happening, and if there are still tickets available. Lastly, I also wanted to check out the Twitter account of the graph. But before we do that, I do want to remind you that any links you will need about anything we just discussed considering the graph or 1inch, which we will discuss in a minute, will be down in the description. So on the graph Twitter account, you can stay updated with all things considering the graph. For example, you can find out more information about the graph day and the graph hack event. Apart from that, the graph Twitter page actually retweets funny memes as well, so it will keep you entertained as well. And just in general, you can stay up to date with all new announcements, news, also considering the GRT token and about the graph in totality, which in my opinion is very valuable. So after the graph, I also wanted to talk about the 1inch network, because the 1inch network actually has a lot of great projects for the DeFi ecosystem as well. So within this cryptosphere where a lot of promising tokens are popping up left and right, 1inch is one of the best protocols and networks out there, because 1inch actually has more than $55 billion in liquidity, allowing you to purchase any promising tokens coming up. And with all these promising projects with real use cases coming up, 1inch almost becomes an indispensable thing for institutions wanting to get into decentralized finance. Because as we said in the first point as well, they provide so much liquidity for those institutions to buy in that they are the best party to use. And here, for example, you can also check out how 1inch works. Because if we wanted to buy the GRT token, so the token used on the graph, you can check it out that 1inch actually provides the best rate at which you can buy GRT, and you can also see how much you will save by using 1inch compared to other decentralized exchanges such as Uniswap or SushiSwap. You can actually see that you can easily save like 1% off of your whole order. So everything we just talked about might sound quite difficult, but in reality it's actually the same thing as actually using a centralized exchange, and I wanted to show you that very quickly. Right here you can see the centralized exchange, for example Binance, where you can look up BTC against USDT, so buy Bitcoin, and you can check out here at the bottom with the spot limit, you can just fill in how much USDT you want to buy in Bitcoin, and you will see how much Bitcoin you will get for that. Now if we compare that to 1inch, it actually works exactly the same and might even be easier. You fill in what you want to sell, in this case that would be USDT, and you fill in what you want to buy, and then 1inch finds the best rate for you, which sometimes and often is actually cheaper than buying it on a centralized exchange. So with that, we have reached this end of the video, and I once more wanted to remind you that all the links you will need for this video, so for 1inch or the graph project, are down in the description. So now for a summary, we actually checked out the graph and 1inch. We checked out what the graph is, what it means, what it does, and what it can mean for you. And apart from that, we also checked out 1inch, what that could mean for you, and how to actually use that and how it is compared to the centralized exchange. So thank you again for watching this video. And if you found it helpful, please add a like and add any comments about things I might have missed. And please subscribe to our channel Crypto Gems as well. Bye.